That one, right? The other one too.
Yeah, I will, this time I will prepare. You can start with that.
Okay. Okay, so let's start with this one. This one you can hear well, right? And then he said it here.
Okay, I think you can hear me now better. That's good. So thank you very much for the opportunity to come here to you and to present the AI in science funding opportunities on EU level. Here you have my contact details as it was kindly presented. I'm coming from the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Innovation. And you have here my email for any kind of questions regarding to AI in Science initiative on EU level later after this day. So I'm really encouraging you to use it. This is my presentation. It will go in 3 parts. First, I will talk about the AI in Science strategy on EU level. Then I'll present the Horizon Europe calls 2026, which are linked to this strategy. And in the final part, some of the support measures you can use as an applicant to these calls. You know, AI in science, you are all in this field working now through the SMASH project, so it's nothing new for you or new for the scientists on European level or broadly, but the strategy and the focus of EU on AI in science is rather new, and the strategy was adopted in November last year. The main reason, there are many research papers, as you know, about this, and articles, reports, what is it, how is AI transforming actually the work in science. But if I can summarize it a bit, it's integrating AI in science can transform, as I said, scientific work, making it more original and creative, accelerate scientific discovery, amplifying the impact of science. And with this, European Commission tries to improve its competitiveness and addressing the societal challenges. So here you see, maybe I can, because they're mobile. So here you see the journey of the AI in science policy at EU level. It started first with some work papers and analytical reports, policy briefs for the political decision leaders, scientific advices. Then there was published online guidelines for the responsible use of generative AI in research. And if you do not know this guideline, then I'm really encouraging you to search for it online and see, because I believe it's very informative and it's a very nice guidelines for those who use generative AI in research. Then after this came the Council conclusions about the importance and new focus of European Commission to AI in science. An ad hoc group mutual learning exercise on national policies on AI in science was established last year, and it was running for a year and finished with a report about it, which is also online if you would like to see it. And Slovenia was part of this group. Then, as I said, it was through this all this journey, European Commission decided that this is really something important for Europe, because they believe that Europe is actually in a nice position to take a lead role in this implementation or integration of AI in science, because in Europe there are many excellent researchers doing research in AI, as well as research groups in other domains. So we just need to bring together these groups. The next step at the EU level is establishment of ERA Action, as it is called, our new group, the ERA Action on AI in Science. This group will work for 3 years, and there are 22 members from the European countries, 7 associated members, as you can see here, and even 16 stakeholder organizations. You may know some of them. And Slovenia is again part of this, because we proceed our work in this domain as we believe it's very important. The objectives of these ERA actions, which started work in November last year, and as I said, it will go for 3 years, And the objective is that the countries which are participating in this ERA action align national policies on AI in science, to include common priority areas to support them on an EU level, to exchange expertise and resources, to share resources across countries like infrastructure needed for AI, to prepare a foundation for future collaborations and future involvement, and also to closely collaborate and engage with stakeholders, not only in academia, but also in private sector and more broadly on a global level, not just in EU, to kind of establish and build a community in AI in science. This picture shows the framework of EU initiatives, AI initiatives, not just AI in science, but AI broadly, but AI in science is part of it, as you can see. So the main foundational document on EU level is AI Continent. This is a very broad document setting the objectives of developing and implementing AI on EU level. Then several pillars below this. One is apply AI strategy, which is not of much relevance for the talk today because it's mostly about implementing AI in different sectors. Then it's AI in science strategy, which was adopted in November, and I will talk about it in the next minutes. And also other strategies which are kind of guiding the fields on data, on cloud, on supercomputers, because as you know, for doing AI, you need also to support with infrastructures on computing and data. And the main objective, I would say, of AI in science strategy on a European level is to implement RAISE. And this is an acronym for Resources for AI Science in Europe. And it's meant like a European virtual institute for AI science as well as AI in science. And yeah, I'll present this in the next slide, so you will see what it is about. So European Strategy for Artificial Intelligence in Science, subtitled Paving the Way for the Resources for AI Science in Europe, shortly RAISE. This was adopted, as I said, in November 2025. The main goals of this strategy, and the strategy is accessible online if you would like to read it. It's a short one, it's not very long, so yeah, it's you can read it easily and it's informative. And the main goals of the European strategies are integrating AI in science to reinforce European competitiveness by accelerating scientific discoveries. Then to support and accelerate the responsible adoption of AI by scientists in all disciplines, so it's open to all other disciplines. And this responsible use is very much, it's deeply at heart with the European Commission. So really they talk about the European approach here. And the third main goal is to ensure European scientific leadership and strategic autonomy. And as I said, the European Commission believes that Europe is really in a nice position to implement AI in science due to excellence in both areas, in domain sciences as well as AI science. How they would like to do it? It's to pursue the EU way for AI in science with fair research, trustworthy results. This is about this European approach, as they say, by building, attracting, and retaining AI scientific talents in Europe, because without people, you cannot do strategy, to fund the excellence in AI science. And this will be all done by pooling the resources from private sector, member states from national levels, and to cooperate internationally, which is meant outside of Europe. And here you have the link to go to this strategy, which is, I believe, about 20 pages, and it's a nice read for you. So here you have a graphical presentation of about this strategy and what is RAISE and how they see it, how they will be established as a virtual institute. The RAISE will have kind of 4 pillars. One is excellence and talent, and this is the instruments that they will actually, as I said, attract, retain talents in Europe to do AI in science. Then there is the second pillar is about computing power, which is also needed if you are active in AI. The data, so the data are accessible and they are curated in a way that they are accessible to AI tools. And of course, the research funding to do the research. And as a baseline for all of this, as I said, it's a safe and trustworthy approach, which is very important for the European Commission. Now we will go to the second part of it. This was about the strategy, and now we will see how they would like to implement this strategy with the first calls in 2026. And this one will not be the only ones. This is only the start, and they will proceed with further calls then. So at the moment, the Horizon Europe Work Program 26-27 was adopted, and the first calls are out. And the calls which are dedicated to implementation of this RISE are put into the horizontal activities. So if you go through the structure of work program of Horizon Europe, in horizontal activities, you will see the calls, the topics which are dedicated to RISE. And as part of the RAISE initiative, Commission is offering 100 million euros for 5 topics, which I will present in next minutes, to foster interdisciplinary breakthroughs at the intersection of AI and scientific discovery. These actions are all expected to create interconnected networks. So when you apply to these topics, you should be aware of the whole ecosystem, to say so, or the whole system and other topics, and you have to be prepared to work with other adopted projects as a community. They also would like that this project would build the RAISE scientific community, and that will contribute to shaping modern science and to transform the approach in science. They represent a coordinated effort. As I said, you should be aware of other projects and be prepared to work with them to embed AI in the scientific research in Europe, and with this to establish the RAISE. But be aware, please, that legal entities established in China are not eligible in these 5 calls. I mean, it's broadly described in these general annexes, and you can go through, but actually it's about the strategic autonomy of the European Commission, which would like to guard some knowledge to keep it in Europe. So here, concretely, for these 5 topics, as I said, they will be open, or some are already open. We'll go briefly now through these 5 topics. So the thematic networks, the call for thematic networks of excellence for AI in science are already open from the 6th of January, and the closure date will be 21st of April. They call for 2 network of excellence. The expected outcomes of the projects which will be adopted through this call will be that the network of excellence will be joining the research labs into thematic areas. The first one is in the thematic of material sciences broadly, whatever can be under the material science. It's very broad, but the second one is a little bit narrow, and it's about agriculture and environmental pollution. This network of excellent labs should pool talents together and expertise and operate as a virtual institute across Europe, being as a part of this future RAISE. The next 3 topics, which are part of these horizontal activities, which will open with the label 2026. The next 3 topics will actually be the part of the Marie Skłodowska-Curie action calls, which you hear more about in the next presentation today. But 3 topics in the call of MSCA within the doctoral networks will be dedicated to establish the RISE Institute. The applications to these 3 calls should be submitted as any other application to Marie Skłodowska-Curie Action Doctoral Network. You just have to express in the application that your actual application is participating in the RAISE doctoral networks, and you should demonstrate the thematic consistency with the RAISE call. The application, of course, must meet all the MSCA doctoral network requirements, eligibility and admissibility requirements. And also please note that the RAISE applications will be evaluated based on the MSCA criteria and scoring system as you know it. But part of the budget will be dedicated to these RAISE topics. And how to show that you are aligned with the thematic of the RAISE in this course. The expected outcomes for doctoral candidates in this call are actually new research and skills in the application of AI in science that would lead to improvement of your employability. I mean, if you are a doctoral candidate, to your employability and to career prospects, be it in or outside the academia, it doesn't matter. And also to enhance the networking and communication capacities of doctoral candidates. And this is toward the scientific peers, the professional communication, and also the communication with general public to increase the impact of research and innovation. And the expected outcomes for organizations. It's improved quality, relevance, and sustainability of doctoral training programs and supervision arrangements. Then also to enhance cooperation and transfer of knowledge between sectors and disciplines, to increase integration of training and research activities between participating organizations, to boost R&I capacities and uptake of AI in science, to increase internationalization and attractiveness of research careers, and to regularly feedback the research results into the teaching. So this is the kind of description of the topic for those applications to the MSA call in May, which will open in May and be part of the RAISE. Later in September, there will be the last two topics of these 5 topics, as I said initially, which will open to help build RAISE. So the last 2 topics will open in September with a closure next year in February, and this will be dedicated to automated labs for AI in science. The expected outcomes is the development of closed-loop scientific experimentation systems, and to integrate automation with AI-driven, trustworthy decision-making process in existing laboratory environments. So please mind that the application should be based on existing laboratory environments, so existing research laboratories, not that you establish from scratch the research laboratory. It's only about the integration of automation, AI-driven automation of your scientific lab. Then to accelerate scientific discovery with increased efficiency and reproducibility, and you should end your project with prototypes of functional demonstrators that showcase the integration of automation with AI-driven decision-making. And one is open to general, to any scientific field, and the other is open to the field of food. I would also like to draw your attention to one additional call which is not placed in these horizontal activities dedicated to RAISE. This is placed in Horizon Europe in Cluster 4, which is a cluster to support research in digital area, industry research, and space. But it's also helping to establish the RAISE, the Virtual Institute, because the RAISE will not be dedicated only to applying AI in science, but also to encourage and to build the AI science as a tool to be used in other scientific disciplines in a general way. So this call is opened to this Science for AI pillar of RAISE, and it is meant to set up a network of excellent AI labs, strengthening collaboration in European AI research, and to establish a model of cooperation among these labs and support development of a strategic research agenda for fundamental research in AI, which should be later used in AI in science. To ensure openness of this network, the project will be obliged in the first year to establish a call for expression of interest to identify additional leading European AI research labs or individual experts in the area of AI. So yeah, you should pay attention, maybe not to apply from scratch to this call, but maybe later when they will open the expression of interest. And it is expected that this network, which will be confirmed through this call, will work in close collaboration with other initiatives in European landscape, because as I said, you should always be aware of other things and try to work as a community on a European level in this field. So now we are at the final third part of my presentation, and this is about the support to you as an applicants for these calls in AI in science. And first, I would just like to briefly present some tips for the proposers to be successful at those calls. Please seek the assistance from national contact points. We are for different areas. For instance, myself, I am for the AI in science. You can contact me, but also for the other topics within Horizon Europe, there is always one person in Slovenia, so you can turn to for the advice and any kind of information you would like to have in order to be more successful at the application. Please check carefully the admissibility and eligibility conditions. You really have to follow all of this in order to be successful. Read carefully the topic, every topic which I've presented, all those 5 topics or 6 with the one addition in cluster 4. The topics are always described with a scope and with the expected impacts. What are the results you should achieve at the end of your project? And please read those 2 parts very carefully, because this is what it is expected from you when you are evaluated. Fill all the proposal templates very carefully, address thoroughly the selection and awards criteria, because this is how you will be evaluated, and it's important that the readers see what they would have to see. Sometimes you have to respect the page limits. Be careful about this, because if you go over, the system might allow you to do this, but the evaluators won't read it past the page limits. Clearly describe what you will achieve and how you will do it. This is very important. And you should establish a consortium to implement your project based on your project needs. Really, you have to have all the skills necessary, nothing too much, but nothing too less also. Describe carefully the impact. The impact criteria is very important for the European Commission, and this is meant not just only the impact during the project implementation, but also to foresee what will be the impact of the project after its life cycle. And I would really encourage you to submit at least the first version well before the deadline. You can always rewrite it. It's not a problem. Always it's only the last version which is stored in their computers. But it's, I mean, at the hours before the deadline, there is always a lot of tension, and the servers might be slower than usual. So, as I already said, your support are the national contact points at the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Innovation. You can see us also as your contact to the European Commission, because we have regular meetings. We see what are the background documents, what are the broader frame, why some topics are there, and what they expect from you. And I also have a quite tight connection with other digital NCPs in other countries. We work together in Idealist Network. So actually, I have access to a broader knowledge and broader best practices in other countries, and we can really exchange a lot of information and try to help you as best as possible. We also do this kind of information days as today, or more focused workshop on specific topics. You can always turn to us for advice, be it as an institution or individual researcher. As I said, please use my email. We have a dedicated websites at the ministry's website, and this one is dedicated to digital and AI in science, and I try to publish there all the relevant informations for you to be the successful as most as possible. I also send regularly e-news about the digital area and AI in science now, which is a new topic added to digital from the November 2025. And if you would like to be subscribed, if you are interested in this course, please subscribe. You just send me an email and yeah, I will put you on my mailing list. This is just to see how the webpage of Idealist Network of digital NCPs around Europe is. And we are offering through this webpage also different tools to support you, like partner searches, brokerage events, sometimes training seminars, topic trees, how the topics are developed, the history of topics. So you have a broader vision and a broader sense about how the topic now actually, why is important for the European Commission. So the last one I would like to finish with is about what we are doing on AI in science in Slovenia so far. As I said, Slovenia is a member of this new ERA Action on AI in Science group, which will work now for 3 years and will support your participation as researchers in the RAISE calls, and also try to influence how the establishment of RAISE and the activities of RAISE will be built now to the future goal of establishing a virtual institute of RAISE. Slovenia is also the member of EuroHPC, and through this we were successful with the proposal for AI Factories Live, which will come to live, I believe, in operation at the end of this year. Of course, your co-fund SMESH, which you are coordinating at the University of Nova Gorica, is a very important part of AI in science in Slovenia. And on a national level, ARIS, our Agency for Research and Innovation, opened a call for projects Gravitatia, Gravity in English. And these are more strategic projects which are broader and in scope and in duration and from the point of budget, trying to build a community on a national level on certain topics. And we called for AI, which is a focus and priority for the ministry. And two projects are now running from this Gravity call. One is AI for Science, and the coordinator is Jožef Stefan Institute, and the other is large language models for digital humanities, which is coordinated by University of Ljubljana. And now it's in the final stage of adoption. Maybe today is already adopted. I haven't checked the website from the government, but in the final stage of adoption, it's prepared the National Strategy on AI 2030 for Slovenia, which will be adopted any day now by the government of Slovenia. And we included not just the development and the research of AI and scientific approaches to AI, but also there is now part of it is dedicated to the implementation of AI in science, and we hope that through this we will implement measures on a national level. So this is the end of my talk. Some useful links to the website of the dedicated to Horizon Europe of the ministries, to the funding and tender portals of the European Commission, where all these calls which I presented will be there published with all the call documentation and explanation you need to be successful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrea, for a wonderful talk. So, yes, this is very exciting. In fact, I think SMASH Fellows with these new opportunities for AI exactly in science, I think you should all be well positioned to benefit. And this is just the beginning, of that kind of funding. So let's take a few questions. Also on Zoom, if people have questions, you can raise hand. Any questions in the room? Okay.
Okay, thank you. Always curious to hear about how we can get funding for the next couple of years. So my question is like this. There is a significant overhead that falls on all researchers, but especially on the senior level researchers, that is related to filling all the forms, constantly applying for different fundings that have very different formats and so on and so forth. And both European Union and national level applications, they require a lot of paperwork, and they are generally described in very convoluted lingo. So basically, like quarter of the time, if you are a postdoc, and I would expect that maybe 80% of the time, if you are a professor, you are spending doing administrative stuff, which is really not efficient. So my question is, are there thoughts or initiatives on doing basically process analysis, on looking into how all those applications are organized and trying to optimize it a little bit? Because as we are moving to more and more to the higher and higher usage of AI and sciences in all aspects, the tempo is increasing, the demands for doing things increasing, and it's simply not. I mean, you can either apply for funding and then write reports, or you can do science. Doing both for the same person, it is complicated.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead. Thanks, Alex. I also have something to add, but yeah, please go ahead, Andrea.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's it's a well-known problem, and it's everywhere in the world. I would say, if I would go anywhere in the world, this will be the question. Let me start with the level at the European Commission. We are, through the program committees, we are discussing a lot about how to reduce the administrative burden of the applicants and of those who have projects and they implement the projects. And we believe, I mean, it's up to your perception, but we believe that we have simplified the applications through the years of Horizon Europe. It's better. And we also do simplification on the implementation level of the project. A lot of topics which will be published are increasingly using lump sum, for instance, financing, which is, of course, not the simplification on the level of the application, because you still has to think through and prepare the budget table. But yeah, if you have a project, then you don't have to report on every specific detail, but you have to just pursue your scientific obligations, let's say so. We have this discussion on the national level too, of course, which, I don't think we are so successful with our agency, and maybe this is more the question for the ARIS agency. I mean, we are, as a ministry, we are constantly giving guidelines that they should do simplification, but I mean, this maybe I'm not the right person here to say something about this. What we have done on a national level, from the point of ministry and legal basis, I can say that this is one thing why we have introduced in the actual law on science and innovation is the stable financing, so that at least part of the budget to the research organization is a stable, and it's as a block funding, and that you have the whole autonomy there to pursue the research you would like to. Yeah, but it's not for everybody on the research organization, that I know. So
okay, I just want to also to comment. No, this is a very good question. In fact, on everybody's mind.
I agree.
But I wanted to say that, in fact, also you should do better, because there is a threshold. Like now, after you apply for enough of those, I feel now that one learns the language and it's much less traumatic than it used to be. I know what you're saying. Maybe we don't want to stay now on this topic forever, but and another thing that I noticed following Info Day is that in EU, they talk more and more about this role of research managers. Like Europe is promoting this new kind of expert that would be sort of highly educated, sort of maybe background in research, I do not know, but would help so that researchers can do research and other people really highly educated can help them in writing grants. So this is another thing that Europe is trying to do to make it simpler, right?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's true, it's very important. And I mean, the kind of awareness of this, that this is really important if you are doing excellent science, that you have excellent administrative and managerial support. Yeah, that's true. That's why also the ministry, I don't know, 3 years ago maybe, launched the call for the what to say in English, support offices for researchers. If I translate this from Slovenian. Yeah. I mean, I believe you are also part of this. There are 5 consortium. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
This was
Okay.
there are 2 calls. One is supporting the technology transfer offices, and the other was for project offices. And in both we were excluded based on our not public status.
Okay, yeah.
State-owned status.
Yeah. So it's about the public research. It's division between public research organizations and not public. Yeah. Okay. So,
okay, but good.
But at least we are aware of this, and maybe we'll encourage and broaden the
okay, so
those who
we can go
be
back.
part of this. But on the we believe that this project will bring some benefits to some public research organizations, and on the European level, there is many different ERA action groups. As I was told, that we are in an ERA action group on AI and science, and myself and my other colleague from the ministry are there representing Slovenia, and we hope that we will have a good cooperation and something will come out from there also as opportunities for you. But there is also the ERA action group on scientific managers and how to,
Exactly, this is the research managers and not that.
Yeah, exactly. It is. So it would be interesting to follow this group. What will be the recommendations out of this, the guidelines? But unfortunately, I can only say that Slovenia is not part of it directly, so I cannot recommend a person who was in Slovenia to turn to and ask about what is in this group going on. But I mean, the work of these EU groups are public, so at least, I mean, reports will be public.
Okay, so I would say, because this is a bit out of topic over for science, it's more like general, maybe let's leave this discussion for the end, for the last talk, and then we can go back to the pains of how to approach applying, not particular calls. Maybe I just have a quick question. So this is just, again, beginning their pilot. Is there any pilot programs? Like they have funding, but not huge, right? So is it clear yet what are sort of the plans, or European Commission is waiting to see the success of these and then decide how to proceed?
No, this is really just the beginning, because the strategy, I mean, they need to have a strategy as a baseline for adopting some calls, and the strategy was, as I said, adopted in November 2025. So these are really the initial calls for AI and science. I'm sorry, I cannot say at the moment more concretely, because there is not yet concrete, but it will continue in the next years. It will continue with calls, because RAISE is really an important focus of Commission, and to establish this RAISE, it's really one of the priorities. And part of work in this ERA action group will be that we think together, all the countries which were listed on my slide and the stakeholder organizations, what would be the best topics to be called for to really establish this RAISE community. So maybe later, I mean, I will have more, I could reply to your question more concretely. You can always later contact me with what are the thinking, in which direction we are going in this group. But at the moment, we just have next week the first meeting. So
it's exciting.
Yeah,
so
but it will not stop. For sure, it's not a just once. There it will be for the next year, for sure.
Okay, so maybe we can stop here with this topic and then move to Stoyan. Thanks so much, Andrea. Stein, do you prefer to have these?